All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I start this video, I want to say make sure you keep an eye on the weather. What a beautiful scenery out there right now. This is looking right out my front patio area, the trees, the beautiful clouds out there, but we do have some rain in the forecast. All right, now let's get down to Delphi. You know, folks, it ain't adding up. It ain't adding up from day one. Do I think Richard Allen is bridge guy? Well, his it don't look like him to me. But I don't have all the video. Okay, we're not seeing all of the video, folks. You are only hearing 39 seconds of the clip. That's it. We actually don't know what, who, how many were involved because the police are refusing to release all of the video. They're only giving us a little bit of the video. Now, we got these guys because I live out here. I was here the whole time when the story broke. It was all over the news out here. Now, in the beginning of this case, the police came out and said there was a lot more on the Delphi recording, but they did not release it because they believed that the murders occurred. It was too gory. It was too whatever on that tape, on that recording. Now, folks, what I'm telling you, folks, is we live in a sinister world. Them girls might have already been, I hate to say it, kidnapped or held without their own will, and somebody used their camera to videotape someone walking down the bridge and then turned it around to tell the girls, hey, right, give me your phone or whatever. Now, here's another thing. We don't have all the data from that phone. The phone was missing with the girls, right? Remember the beginning of the case, they all went out there the same day. They looked for the girls the same day they were missing and at night till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They searched that whole area, even behind the cemetery, and found nothing. The next day at 12 o'clock or something like that, or early afternoon or whatever, they found the girls and the phone, right? So is that enough time to place the girls there and stage them? It must have been a staging, folks, because even the police talked about it, how it was a staging, that the girls weren't left the way they were dropped off. Who was out there? Who knew the family? Were the girls out there? And they stumbled upon somebody that they were familiar with and thought they were safe with. Turns out it was the Joker. You remember the Batman or the Joker movie where he hired a whole bunch of people to rob a bank? And at the end, they were killing each other as they were leaving the bank and loading up the money until there was the last person left. The guy that orchestrated the whole thing, the Joker. So is it possible that this guy is so nuts that the girls might have already been dead and he had the phone and he just happened to see someone coming down the bridge and videotaped it? It's possible. I'm not taking it off of the table. Them girls could have been taken somewhere and their phone taken, and it was all edited. See, folks, if you can take data off of something, you can put fraudulent, fake data on that device. So is it possible that the bridge guy ain't even Richard Allen? Very possible. It don't look like his gait to me. He admitted he was there. A lot of people go there. It's a party place for a lot of these people. Greeno hung out there all the time, but I ain't even mentioning his name. That's the last bit. The video I did before this is the last video mentioning that dude. I'm going to do my best not to. But being that Greeno, supposedly, there I did again, was the one that broke the story and put all this stuff out. Well, it's possible, folks, that some of his product got in the wrong people's hands and got mixed up. And we're not seeing Bridge Guy. We're seeing a reenactment. So that's really not Bridge Guy. We don't have the data. The police won't release it. There's footage on there. There's recording of voices, numerous, from what Mr. Sheriff Carter said. So could it have been the Joker? It could have been, folks. I hate to say it. I know you folks don't want to believe me. That's fine. But you folks ain't seeing the big picture. We've been having a problem in Indiana down south with these people for many years. There's a new task force that has been built just to get all these kiddie porn, psycho club, cult, cuckoo, trafficker, whatever you want to call it, nut jobs. So is it possible that the main brain got away? And Richard Allen is a fall guy. It's possible. Was Richard Allen involved? Yes. They tracked his phone to the account. He did admit he used that account. He did admit he's been out to that bridge before, but he also said that he did not kill the girls. Now, being I'm from Indiana and I know about hunting and areas where people go, that's a known place where people went to fish, party. Homeless people were out there underneath the bridge living, and people went out there to shoot guns. So is it possible Richard Allen was out there shooting his weapon one day, whatever, and dropped an unspent shell? Yes, very possible. Is it possible that that caliber of a weapon, is it a coincidence that they're saying the same caliber of weapon was found with the Idaho 4 case, Brian Kohlberger? There's rumors about it. If so, well, there's, we want to question him too. Also, they're very pissed at me. I'm like, we got to question this guy. We got one. We got Richard Allen. I don't care what you got, right? The way the girls were staged and left there fit the MO of what Brian Kohlberger did. So a lot of people are pissed at me. I got some big dogs coming down, but we got big teams coming in. See, we ain't buying this crap that these people produced a movie, and their movie, their little skits got wrapped up into a real investigation. Was it the main brain? Was it the Joker? Then he staged the whole thing. Possible. And the only reason a lot of people are saying this is because the police are refusing to release all of the footage. You're only hearing a little bit of it. When this case first came out, there was 39 minutes of footage and recording, but the authorities only released a portion of it because they believed it was too gory for us to hear, the citizens, that the girls succumbed to their death on that video. The question was asked to Sheriff Carter, was Abby and Libby and the killer's voice, or was Abby and Libby's voice the only voices on the recording? And Sheriff Carter himself said no, there was numerous voices on the recording other than Abby and Libby's. That led me to believe that there was more that we are not hearing. That means the people have been misled by some of these YouTubers in believing that the footage that they created was actually police footage that was released, and it wasn't. Thus, led to other creators that were putting out fraudulent photos that were being photo-opted and went through and deliberately being distorted deliberately. So you did not see who the real person was, right? For all we know, this was a YouTuber's movie, and their movie stuff got put in as it's the real guy. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked. Do I think Richard Allen did this by himself? If he did it at all, no. He's an idiot, a cuckoo, whatever, right? There had to be someone else there. And why do I say that is because Keegan Kline himself said he drove someone to that area and dropped and sat there and waited for them, right? So what does that mean? Well, I don't know. We're still looking at Keegan Kline. Where's Tony Kline? We're still looking at all these people. They all knew each other. Do you think they're going to tell you folks that they knew Richard Allen after he got caught? Who in their right minds? I was raised where, you knew someone and they murdered somebody. I don't know who they are. What are you talking about? You're not going to see people come out and say, oh, yeah, I was best friends with him. We hung out all the time. I knew exactly who Richard Allen was, Nobody is going to say that. So I've seen some of these new broadcasters, the news guys saying, nobody knew this guy. Nobody. Well, who do you think is going to admit they knew him when he's kitty porning or kitty photos and luring young girls, who nobody's going to come out and admit it. Excuse me. So there's a lot more to this case that you folks will ever know, that any of us will ever know. Why? Because we don't have the evidence. We don't have all the data and the actual phone footage. We're seeing a little bit of clip of it, if it is actually the footage and was not edited. Them girls could have been dead already, man. That dude could have had his phone. And we seen that in the Gabby Petito case. And these folks told me I was nuts. I'm like, he must have had her phone. She could have been dead. I believe she was dead when we got that camper that drove down that dirt road and you seen that door close. In the Gabby Petito case, I believe she was already dead. And that was Brian inside the van. And he already got rid of the body, right? And from that day, Brian had her phone and was using it for weeks. And I believe we're seeing the same thing here, maybe, where they had the phone for hours. The girls came up missing between 3 o'clock or 2:30 and 5 o'clock. They searched that night until 1 or 2 o'clock or midnight or something like that. They called the search off because it was too dark. They didn't find anything. Everyone left was from midnight or 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning until the next day at, I don't know what time they found the girls, 10 or 11 or something like that. The next day they found them out there. Is that enough time to orchestrate a scene that wasn't real? If you know what you're doing and you have the expertise and the software to take data off of a phone and replace it with fake data, edited, whatever. Is it possible? Yes. You're talking what, 8 hours there? Right? Longer than that. There's been reports that their phone was pinging that night around town. Well, that's very well possible. If the girls weren't killed there, they were taken from there, killed somewhere else, and then staged. These people had their phone for longer than that. Actually, they would have had their phone from 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 10 or 11 or whenever they found the girls the next day in the woods. So was that enough time to manipulate that phone? Yeah. You know what you're doing. Sure. They might not even have had to done that. They might have just had the girl's phone the whole time and recorded stuff using their own phone, using the girl's own phone deliberately. A real sicko, a real joker, a real nut job. Many of them, maybe. I don't know. Why? Because I'm not there and I don't have the data. So anything is possible, folks. Right? Do I think Richard Allen is bridge guy? I don't know. He seems a lot bigger, taller than Richard. Richard Allen is a little dude. He seems a lot taller, bridge guy does. A lot more heftier, and he don't have the same gait as Allen, but we're only seeing a small clip of it, right? We're only seeing a small clip of it. Now, a lot of people were talking about Brad Chadwell, who has claimed he used to live underneath that bridge, who has claimed he belongs to some club of guys that supposedly was taking young girls and teaching them sex stuff so he can use them within the club. Now, I don't know if that's true. That's just some of the videos that are out, right? That he was sending messages to other people saying that they could use this girl he had chained up in his basement as a sex slave for the club, and they can make money off of her. Right? Thank God they got him. Right? They caught him red-handed with the girl in the basement chained up. I want to give kudos and a big clap to the police that did their job down there that day. And if it wasn't for them banging on doors, they would have never found that young lady that was like 3 doors down from her house that Chadwell lived at, who was actually a suspect in the Delphi case when it first came out. So, Delphi case to me is still ongoing. We will never know how the girls died because it hasn't been released. They're saying that there's a report out there that says the girls were killed with a pointy object. But some of these guys made YouTube videos claiming that the girls were penetrated with sticks and fingers chopped off and hands chopped off and sick stuff was done to them. How did they know that before the police even released any information on how the girls were killed and staged? Hello, Debbie Fox. Do you need anything? Cup of coffee? Cup of coffee or anything? Let me know. So take everything with a grain of salt, folks. These folks have been caught lying, scamming, making videos. Like I said, it could have been the Joker. And I mean, it could have been the Joker. And the police are going on what they see on the phone, what they hear, not knowing right away that 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 recording could have been planned all along by a couple idiots. Now we know there was more than one. We know this. We know there was more than one, right? We got Anthony Greeno saying that the killer called his phone. We got Keegan Klein, who was caught luring the girls with a fake account. We got numerous people that were using that account. Richard Allen was one of them people. We got Keegan Klein saying, yes, he dropped somebody off at the bridge that day and waited for them. That right there proves that there was more than one involved in this whole thing. Hello, Justice Jane. So everyone wants to just get this case over with. I wonder why. I wonder why they just want to pin it on one. It was one guy. I wonder why these guys are hoping and praying that this case is over with real soon. Does it make any sense to you folks? It surely does to me. I hope it does to you folks, but you folks ain't me. Well, the evidence has already come. There's many involved. There's many involved in the case. How can you not say there was only one person involved in the case when they got Keegan Klein, they got Richard Allen, they questioned numerous people in that case. Michael Catt, they questioned Sean Harmon. They questioned Greeno, took his phone. How can you not say? And Brian Chadwell, which they all knew each other. This was the club that they were talking about, right? You had the other jokers that were picked up down, Kurt and all them dudes, which they all go. Kurt came out and said, "Oh yeah, well, right, we knew this guy," and you think they're all going to come out and say they knew each other? I doubt it. Right? I doubt it. They're going to come out and say, "Oh, we were best buddies. We belong to a club." Right? I don't think they were going to do that. Right? I don't know. Now, once again, I'm not saying Anthony Greeno's the killer. I'm not going to mention his name again. I'm trying not to. It's almost like a curse. But him himself said he belonged to a club. Right? What's this club? And I want to know what, they ride motorcycles, Greeno said. What club is doing this to the women and children down south there in Indiana, or even up north here, anywhere in America? I don't have no problems with you biker clubs, okay? I don't have no problems with you guys. I ride bikes myself in my younger days. I love Harleys. But I can't stand for this. If this is some kind of club that's running around in America, and these guys are saying they're being questioned for this stuff, and they're claiming they belong to some club. I mean, what club is this? I mean, come on, guys. Once again, I ain't got no problems with the Outlaws, the Banditos, the Sons of Odin, the goobin, gloppin, gleepin, glopins. But a club that is killing, raping, and pillaging, well, I think this is a club we might want to take a look at, right? I mean, does it make sense to you folks? If I'm way out there and I'm way off the beaten path, then tell me. But if you can't put the dots together, that there was numerous people picked up there for kiddie photos or whatever and drugs and linked to this account, I don't know what to tell you folks. It's everything the government was saying. They came out and said it in the beginning. People didn't want to hear it. They were looking for the one guy. That's it. It was just one man did all this havoc. What do I think happened? I think that someone found out that the girls were being lured, or someone got caught, and the girls had to go. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. It's just my theory. But if I am way off, then tell me. But I got a gut feeling and that it's bigger than it was just one guy, right? Even if it was just Richard Allen did the murders, what about these idiots that were luring these girls? There was rumors that one of the girls were pregnant and they had to go. Who were they pregnant by? Who? I think I'm leading to this one thing, folks. Justice Jane, if I'm way out there and I don't know what I'm effing talking about, then tell me. And I'm done with this trying to save or help. I'll just go back to not caring about a dang thing but myself and family and friends and citizens. But if I'm way off and I don't know what I'm talking about, you can't even find the videos that came out when this case first broke in Indiana. You can't even find them. Where'd they go? For one, if there was only one killer, why did Sheriff Carter come out and say that there was numerous voices on the recording other than Abby and Libby's? It ain't making sense to me. Someone give me some kind of a sign that I'm all wrong, but I'm seeing it in the Summer Wells case. You got the police saying it didn't happen the way they're saying. You got the police in the Delphi case saying don't believe nothing unless you hear it from us. We've already proven that these folks have made fake documents, fake photos, fake videos. We've caught news people making fake videos, news channels on YouTube that were claiming they were out doing something, looking for a killer, but actually it was a call with a man with a gun and he was going to kill himself. Right? Of course, they were still there looking for that guy that escaped, but there was also a massive amount of police force because they were responding to a call, someone with a gun that was going to kill himself, a black male that ran off to the woods, to the railroad tracks or whatever, right? So we've already seen that. I don't know. Can I get somebody out there to tell me if I'm wrong? But if you can take data off of a computer and a phone, well, then you can manipulate that data and take it off and put other data on it. And it don't take long. We don't know what happened that day. We don't know exactly all that happened. We don't know who is on the recording or exactly what happened. Now people are saying there's a voice change. It seems similar, but it seems I've seen. Well, she put the phone in her pocket supposedly. Maybe the killer put the phone in his pocket. We don't know that. Maybe he came up on the girls, grabbed their phone, and put it in his pocket. Right? Maybe the killer was waiting for someone to come and help him, and then he filmed the dude walking up. Right? And then put the phone in his pocket or whatever. And the guy that was helping didn't even know that he was being filmed. Didn't even know that he was being used, much like the Joker in the movie. And people look at me going, this is crazy. Are you killing me? No, we don't know. If there was numerous voices on the recording other than Abby and Libby's, well, that means there was more than one. Or we were dealing with a real psychotic man. Who does that bridge guy look like to me? Well, I always said it looked like this gate. It was a toss up between Harmon and Chadwell, right? But Chadwell's just a small little dude. But bridge guys seem a lot taller than what these Richard Allen dude. Richard Allen's only 5'4", they're saying, or something. Chadwell was the same, 5'6" or something, small dude. When that case first came out, they said bridge guy was anywhere between 5'9" and 5'7" and 5'9" or 5'10". Right? We don't know what happened. Is it that easy if you're filming something, someone comes up and takes the phone, that they can record whatever they want and then go in and edited it? Yeah, it's possible. Within that span of time between 2 o'clock or 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 10 o'clock the next morning, is that enough time to manipulate someone's phone? Yes, I believe so. I believe it is. If you have the software to do it, yes. They could have downloaded something. They could have downloaded an editor, I believe. I'm not sure, but they could have downloaded. They could have had her phone downloaded a editing software real fast, or sent that video somehow from that phone to someone else's computer or phone. They edited it, sent it back, and they deleted the original one. Maybe. I mean, I've been going through all kinds of things, thinking about it. Is it possible? It is if you're a real sicko and you do this for money or whatever. These people, they'll do anything. But I believe the case is still open and it's still going on. And I believe there was more than one person. And the proof was there because they caught Keegan Klein, and then they caught Richard Allen. Then they got Keegan Klein or Anthony Greeno's phone. Then they were questioning these guys. You know what? People failed to understand that they arrested Keegan Klein 12 days after the murders. 12 days after the murders, they already knew who Keegan Klein was, had all his phones, all this computer stuff. And then the people started falling. Does that make sense to you guys? Anyone out there? Does that make any sense to you guys? Anyone? Everyone left me. Everyone left me. That's all right. But that's what I'm thinking. 12 days after the murders, they knew who Keegan Klein was. They had all this data. They had all his computers, phones. And that's when these guys started getting picked up, questioned, and arrested. And why was that? Well, probably because they had Keegan Klein's phone. right? They probably went through Keegan Klein's friends list or whatever. And data. I'm thinking that's just my scenario, my thoughts. I don't know if that's true, right? I don't know if that's true. Uh, but that's just my theories is they caught one of them. It started leading to other ones. And and it ain't over yet. It's still an ongoing case. And should they have released all the footage of the Delphi case? Um, I hate to say it. I mean, we would have knew a lot more uh, of how many voices we're hearing. It could have been one guy, but he could have been an expert at changing his voice or acting like an idiot, right? The devil himself, maybe, I don't know. But I'm not taking anything off of the table. I think it was bigger than what people thought. I don't believe one person was just involved. I believe that other people knew. I believe that someone got caught and maybe the girls had to go. I believe maybe even the girls were pregnant, but not by a young kid. I believe maybe one of the girls might have been assaulted by one of these guys. And they had to go. And Richard Allen was the fall guy or the killer, one of the two. But either way, there was more than one person that knew about it and that was involved in it. So Keegan Klein might not have been the killer, but who was the person he dropped off there or waited for in the vehicle? Um, and who was the other guy there? There was numerous people there that day on the bridge. Flannel guy that had a flannel on, and bridge guy, right? Plus Keegan Klein supposedly parked in his vehicle that he dropped someone. Now we don't know if these videos are true. Why? Because we don't have all the evidence like the police does. We don't have all the satellite photos, all the phone data, all the crime scene photos, everything. Only the police do. So I can't tell you exactly what happened that day. I can only make a version of it, what I think happened. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll get on there and say, boy, I was way out of the ballpark with that case. Do I think Richard Klein is crazy? I can tell you this much. If Richard Klein was not crazy, he is now. And he was drove it, right? They probably abused him, harassed him, all kinds of crap. Confession? I wouldn't believe any of it, folks. We've already caught these people making fake videos who we thought were news, broadcasting, crime people, crime channels. They don't lie. We've caught them making fake videos. So do I believe he confessed to the crime? I don't know about that. If he was drove to it, yeah, if he was drove crazy into a confession, sure. Sure, if he's interrogated and they got people going in there, if the police have people spies going into his cell or talking to him all crazy, and trying to get information out of him and all that. If he wasn't crazy when he went in, he surely is now. And that's enough to wreck a case, right? That's enough to wreck a case. He could plead insanity if he is as crazy as they say. Yeah, sad but true, right? Here's the funny thing. Supposedly he confessed to his wife 5 times, but yet she's there by his side. She's there at court. She's there by his side. And see, we don't know the truth, folks. That's the whole thing. We don't know. And we still want to question Brian Koberger. Why? Well, because the MO matches and the same caliber guns. Supposedly they're saying in the Idaho 4 that he was found with a 40 caliber weapon and knives. And likes to travel a lot, right? You want to get mad at me because I keep an open mind. There ain't nothing. We haven't taken nothing off of the table on this channel. We want to question Brian Koberger, right? Now, why don't we talk about his little Riddick experiment he had going, where he was asking for people to help him or be a part of his studies. How many people did Brian Koberger talk to? Were any of them from Indiana? Has he been here? Well, ancient crime therapists say yes, right? He's been to Indiana before. All right, folks, just take that in consideration. I'm not saying Anthony Greeno is the killer. I'm not saying Sean Harmon was the killer. I'm not saying any of these people were the killer. They're innocent until proven guilty. But the facts are, them themselves made videos and did confess on camera that they were questioned by the police in the case. Anthony Greeno on camera said his phone was taken by the police and never returned. Other people in the case, let me point this out to you people. Other people that were involved in Keegan Klein. Keegan Klein sold a bunch of phones and iPads or whatever. The police confiscated them from the people that he sold them to. The data was taken off of them and given back to them people because it was their property. The police told them, we don't want it. We just wanted the data. Why did they not give Greeno's phone back to him? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Okay? Do I have a grudge over Greeno? No, he's innocent until proven guilty. Anything against Keegan Klein? Any of these guys? No, I got no beef where I'm going to go out and stalk these people or hunt them down. I got better things to do. But I ain't going to buy their crap because it ain't adding up. It didn't add up in the beginning of the case, and it ain't adding up now. So I just ain't falling for it. Until the case is over and done with, I ain't falling for any of their bull crap. Now, you folks have a great day. Be safe. God bless you all. And that's my opinion on it. Right? That's my opinion on it. Debbie, thanks for stopping in. And Justice Jane, thanks for stopping in. And anyone else that stopped in. And yeah, folks, do your history on this case. You won't even find videos that were put out 5 years ago on this case, 6 years ago. I got a whole playlist of Delphi stuff from, I think, like a year and a half after the case came out. Right? I started doing Delphi stuff, but I knew about it before because it was all over the news. I think I am done with coffee today. And you folks have a great day. Be safe, ladies, gentlemen. Don't get wrapped up into these people's bullcrap, lies, and manipulation. They're going to try and taint the case as much as they can before it goes into court. And I would like to see all the footage that the police have in its full entirety. I know a lot of people think it's sick. Why would you want to hear it? Well, because the evidence that's on it, the voices, the words that were said. Was it one voice and the guy was changing his voice? Right? A complete psycho, a joker. We don't know because we're not hearing the whole thing. All right, folks. You folks have a great day. God bless. Keep an eye on your children. Keep an eye on the weather. And yeah, a lot of people want this case over and done with. But is it because it's bigger than what we know? No, I believe maybe. Is some people just want this case over with because we're sick of it. It's just madness. 2 young girls lost their life. I would say it's more we're just sick of it. We're sick of the kids, the women coming up dead, the kids, the men. We just want all these cases to be solved and closed, right? And let me tell you something about the crime channel business or community. It's nuts. If you watch this crap 24/7, you will become one of these idiots that we are watching in these cases, right? 24/7 watching nothing but crime channel cases. You start becoming a product of what you watch. You lose yourself. Some say your soul. I would believe it. I believe like they suck the life out of me. All right, you folks have a good night and be safe and God bless. And it ain't over. Summerwell's case ain't over. Delphi ain't over with. The Monkey Vaughn case ain't over with. A lot of cases not over with, folks. Just because they have people question them or have them in custody or whatever, hasn't gone to court. You don't know what kind of proof they're going to have till it goes into court. Will we ever know it? Was it a big ring, big trafficking, kiddie, drug organization, club, or whatever these guys are saying? I don't know. I don't hang out with people like that. So I couldn't tell you. I'm just going by what I see, what I hear, what they say. That's about it, right? The evidence we see on social media and on the news. I don't know. God bless you all. Have a great day and watch out for some of them storms. We got storms around. Beautiful clouds out there. I need to put the camera on. So I wonder if I got some birds chirping out there. Get some beautiful bird chirp. Hopefully I get a good storm. Some lightning tonight. Give me a good storm footage. You folks have a great day. I want to thank all the subs and viewers. And I don't hate anybody. I get mad. I get angry. But hate? I don't hate these. I don't hold a grudge against these people. Keep moving on. Now, you folks have a great day. Be safe. God bless.